Quibi is, we're talking about a little bit earlier. Quibi's like a competitor of, if you want to put that article up, Kai, that'd be great for us to look at the Quibi article. So they come out and they say they're going to compete with Netflix, with Hulu, with all of these guys. And their platform is to show 10-minute films on your phone because they believe the younger audience is going to watch movies more on their phone, right? So that's what they do. The founder is Katzenberg, if you know Katzenberg, he's got a ridiculous resume, $910 million guy. And he brings in Meg Whitman. You know Meg Whitman. She ran for Republican governor in the state of California. I think she spent $150 million to win it. She almost did, but she lost it. $5.1 billion person who took eBay from $8 million to $32 billion. So they had a great lineup they had at Quibi, right? So they have the funding. Investors, Sony, NBC, Warner, Time Warner, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Alibaba. I mean, the list is a long list of people that came in and said, we believe.
Stars galore.
Stars galore, The Rock, Kevin Hart, LeBron James, J-Lo, you name it.
The list goes on.
Oh, they had everybody.
So, Pat, what happened with this group? They had all this backing. Yeah. They had all this star power. They had all the influence.
Yeah.
Six months. Boom. What happened?
1.8 billion, by the way, if you think this. We're not talking about a lot of money, right? We're not talking about a little bit of money. It's a lot of money we're talking about. $1.8 billion. So what really happened? Here's a couple things. If you read their quote, I don't know if you have the quote up or not, when they went out of business, the way Katzenberg put it, that they went out of business, he just said it very simply. We've believed that this didn't, there it is. In Wednesday letter, Mr. Katzenberg and Ms. Whitman said there were one or two reasons for Quibi's failure. The idea behind Quibi either wasn't strong enough to justify standalone streaming service, or the service's launch in the middle of a pandemic was particularly ill-timed. So they're saying what? Either we had a bad idea, or it's because of pandemic, right?
More likely the former.
Meaning the pandemic. So you're thinking
no, he's saying a bad idea.
Bad idea.
Bad idea is a bad idea.
Okay, so bad idea is a bad idea. Okay. So let's go with both. Let's go first
with... two questions with that.
Let's go first with bad idea. Let's say it's a bad idea. Okay. So what's a bad idea? A bad idea is that people don't want to watch content, short films, 10 minutes. They don't want to be entertained by that. I don't think it's a bad idea. Is it pandemic? Is it the fact that they came out at a bad time? I mean, Tiger King, Joe Exotic for a week was the most famous person in the world because his, documentary, his video was watched 65
The Last
million.
Dance came out in March, April. It was the biggest thing.
The Last Dance came up.
There's been no throttling of your ability to get on your mobile device.
Yeah,
so there's no way the pandemic was affecting this.
And I'm glad you're saying that.
Yeah, I mean, no question about that.
Yeah.
But I do believe that a lot of people that are successful, once you reach some modicum of success, you begin to think you know what people want, and that's when it gets dangerous. Because you have to let the people tell you what they want, and this was a classic case of throwing a lot of money at something. They got themselves all worked up and lathered up about it. I remind myself constantly in our marketing, hey, we think this one's going to work. We're testing some web pages right now.
Yeah.
I said, look, before we test them, let's have everybody vote on it so we can show that there's going to be differing opinions. But at the end of the day, the consumer decides which one they like better, and apparently this just didn't resonate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that they talk about. But the other part of it is when they talk about Quibi is the fact that, so here's our audience. They want 18 to 34-year-old audience for who they're going after. We want customers that are 18 to 34, right? Yet they go get A-listers and pay them $100,000 a minute to advertise. They don't own any of their content. Very little of their content they own. It's purely a technology company that they sell themselves as, meaning we are a tech company. We're not necessarily a Netflix content creation company, because what they had was, when you put the video there and you're watching it, you spin it. It was a real nice integration, how smooth it was. And so people loved it. And then rather than going after these big YouTubers like a Mr. Beast who's got 45 million subscribers, to bring a guy like that and say, hey, why don't you come and join us and, give them some equity or do a partnership with guys like that? They went with the traditional A-listers is where they went after. And then next thing you know, 1.8 billion in 6 months. And then here's the other part. Why are you shutting down after 6 months? Like, how do you know this thing's not going to work out? You know how many changes Netflix had to make? Remember back in the days, you got the discs from Net. They would just send you the DVD, and then you send them back. They send you another one, and another one, and another one.
How old does that feel at this point?
But what I'm trying to tell you is they recreated themselves multiple times, and Quibi's just like, nope, we're done. So they're giving $350 million back to their investors, and they're shutting it down.
So you must have a strong opinion as to what the hell happened here, because in my opinion, I don't think they had a bad idea. That was that was the former.
Yeah.
And launching anything digital on your phone while people are sitting at home during a pandemic can't be a bad idea, right? Is it too much competition in the marketplace? Is it a bad business model? What do you think actually happened with this group? Did they put too much money into these A-listers and not to the C-listers who they could have got cheaper? What the hell happened?
If you're going after 18 to 34-year-olds, why don't you go get the 18 to 34-year-olds audience?
Get some TikTokers on.
What are you doing getting the 47-year-olds and the 50-year-olds? The 18 to 34-year-olds follow that TikTokers that's got 15 million followers that you and I have no clue who she is. Mm-hmm. Go get her. 18 to 34-year-olds follow the Instagram girl or guy that's got 22 million followers that you and I may not know about. Go get him or her, right? Go get the YouTuber that's got 29 million subscribers. Have you ever watched Mr. Beast?
I have. Yeah.
Which one have you watched of Mr. Beast?
He gave away like cars the other day.
Okay,
this guy just gives away cars like it's raining.
Perfect. He gives away cars. Okay. Or what's the other guy's name? The other guy named David. He's the guy with the Borat. Is that who the Borat guy is? You want to play the video what this guy just did? Here's how they just launched Borat together.
Oh, that was awesome. David Dobrik.
Yeah. This is how they launched Borat's movie. It's got 8.5 million views. Okay. These are young marketing geniuses. Okay. They could have gone to guys like this because these are the audience. They have the audience you want. Click on it to see what these guys do. Look at this.
I'm going to bring you guys here today to introduce you guys to one of my friends. Okay. He flew in all the way from Kazakhstan.
Borat? No,
Yeah.
I like it.
Hello.
Look at this.
There he is. Hi. Oh, no. No.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Fuck. You got.
Hey, listen, I will get this.
I will get this.
You buy a cheap car.
It's a $150,000 car they hit. 8.5 million views. Okay, that 8.5 million views already paid for the door.
That was 6.5 million on Saturday.
That was 6.5 million on Saturday. You're making somewhere between 10 or 15 grand per million views. So you figure what's that right there? So $80,000 to $120,000 was paid by that video just to do an integration. Borat got plenty of marketing for his movie. This is genius.
Did you see what he says about the price of the car?
Yeah, he says
keep playing it, Kai.
It's not cheap. It's expensive.
No, this expensive car?
Yeah, look how.
This expensive car.
$300.
This costs over $300.
This is $150,000.
100? What?
What?
More than
The guy's ridiculous how capable he is. He's ridiculous how capable he is.
Incredibly talented.
But the point is, I think half the battle with Quibi, Adam, if you ask me, is they threw in the towel too early. They listened to the wrong people. There was this article written about it that they said if you went to the Quibi headquarters, it was so cocky, so arrogant. It was like, everything about them was that they're better than everybody else and they're going to take over the marketplace. And there wasn't a cool feeling about them. There was this, we're above everybody. They already made it. There was that kind of a feeling that they had at their headquarters. We've already made it like sexy headquarters that already set up, spent a lot of money on it. So, again, for me, the biggest thing with Quibi, if you think about it, is they simply threw in the towel way too early. When we started the business, like I started the business, we had to change a million times. We tested a million different things that didn't work until, boom, something clicked. I think it's too early, and they could have competed with the marketplace. I wish it would have stuck around a little longer.
Yeah, I talk to my son about this all the time, and as it relates to he's in the music business,
Yeah.
and in the old days, back when we were kids, a record label would sign an artist that had some talent, and then they would promote that, they'd get it played on radio, all that payola stuff, and you didn't have any. The audience didn't decide what the hits were. The record labels decided what was going to be popular, and that's how it worked. And today it doesn't work that way. The record labels just can't force content down anybody, and people can go out and become popular without the assistance of all that promotion because it's much more organic. And if you get cocky and you think you can actually jam stuff down people's throats, it doesn't work that way. It's much more transparent. It's much more real today. And so they obviously missed, and you said they gave back $350 million to the investors. So apparently there was a lot of people in on that decision to say, you know what, we're going in the wrong direction. We don't want to waste the last $350, and we're not sure we're going to be able to raise more if we lose $1.8 billion. And so, who are we? I mean, we're not inside their boardroom. We don't have all the facts they have. We can speculate as to what.
There is one thing that we can't speculate. There's a big lawsuit going on right now with them. What was that one company that sued them? Echo, ECKO, some name like that. They were the ones that made the technology that goes smooth.
Yeah.
And so they presented that technology to them with Katzenberg in the room, and they went ahead and did it themselves. And Echo, the company that sued them, is Echo. They're EKO. They're a very well-funded company with powerful names. So if they sue you, it's not a small lawsuit. They're coming after you to get exactly what they want. So some are saying that could be that reason why they're just kind of don't want to go play ball because the lawsuit can make it really ugly. You're right. We don't know about it, and we're speculating, but that's why we have a podcast. We sit here speculating about everybody's lives. You know what I mean?
Pat, would you unpack something for me? We obviously know if this company would have been successful, it would have started to make money and generate revenue.
Yeah.
Awesome. What happens on the flip side? A company doesn't work. You guys are both founders, CEOs of your companies. What happens when in the boardroom when the guys, we're going to have to shut down, we're going to have to do this, we're going to have to give money back to investors? Walk me through that conversation.
I haven't had that conversation. So
Well, good. That's a good thing. But imagine if you did. Like, how does that conversation sound like? Like, what happens to this company?
When you raise $1.8 billion, you don't control 51% of the company. When you don't control 51% of the company, you don't make the decision. It's a vote. So there is no one person. One person in the room could have been like, no, I think we can make this work, and the other three are voting against you. It doesn't matter what you think.
Okay.
It's a different environment because you went and raised $1.8 billion.
What do you own? Who has the say? What do you think?
When you raise $1.8 billion, now the money people tell you what to do. And anytime money people are telling you what to do, they're not in the business. They're not in it on a daily basis to know what's going on, who's working, who's not working, who's excited, who's not excited. You don't see any of that stuff. So it's a big difference between that and having a small business owner that goes and raises his own money. With $500,000, they start a business. They control 100% of it. Eventually, they give up 5, 10, 15, 20%, and they can still make that decision themselves. Not in a situation like this.
These are venture capitalists, angel investors. Who are these people that are making the decisions?
These guys are not angel investors. There is no angel in there. Probably no angels in there. These are people that have money. These are people that are coming in saying, I'll give you $100 million. I'll give you $50 million. I'll give you $300 million.
They made big bets, but I've talked to small business owners that have raised and given up even 5, 10, 15, 20%. And I said, why do you worry about what the investors think when you have 80%? He says, you don't understand. They have hooks. They have things where they can muck up the works and they can get in the way even though they don't have control. So it's not like, hey, just keep 51% and you call all the shots. It doesn't work that way.
You're right, but there's an element of it. Well, I tell you for myself, I'm the majority owner where I'm at, right? But I agree to the certain hooks that they put in, right? Certain wording that they put in where, hey, anytime you're going to spend anything about $500,000 check on one thing, call us. Okay, so if I'm going to do something at an event and it's going to cost me $3 million, I got to call them. If I'm investing into technology it's going to cost me $2.5 million, I got to call them on anything above $500,000 because we're dealing with their $10 million, right? So you got to go and get the approval there. But for the most part, if you get the right money, people, they'll leave you alone if you're growing. We've grown 50% every year for God knows how many years now. So to them, they're like, listen, keep doing what you're doing. Monthly card that we do, we're good to go. Quarterly call that we have and we get together, we're good to go. So as long as you're bringing in return, they don't bother you.
But in this case, they didn't. And so
in this case, they got 930,000 initial free subscribers that they did. Okay, here's a number. I think it's 910,000 subscribers right off the bat. Quibi app was number 3 the day it came out. It was the number 3 most downloaded app the day it came out. Wow. After a couple weeks, it's not even the top 50. Do you know out of that 910,000, how many of them subscribed to $4.99 a month with Quibi? A month later, do you know how many of them? 93% dropped off. Only 72,000 subscribed. Only 72. They're like, nah, I'm not in it. 72,000 said I'm in. The other 800-some thousand, they said I'm out. So
there is an element of fatigue in terms of, hey, I've got Netflix, I've got all these, I got Hulu.
There's so much shit.
But guys, I disagree. I totally disagree, and this is why this is good to have this kind of a podcast. I disagree. Here's why I disagree. Do you have Netflix?
I do.
When did you buy it?
Oh man, I can't remember. Long time ago, over 10 years ago.
But what caused you to get Netflix?
They just had the service I wanted. I mean, it was perfect.
But why? Why did you get it? Was there a show that hooked you? Can you remember? Because I remember. Do you have Netflix?
Not anymore.
No, actually, I was actually on the original with the CDs, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to have these movies available to me. So I'd get the CD, I'd burn it down.
Yeah.
I'd have it with me when I was traveling. I'd put it on my laptop, and I could watch a movie on my laptop, and I'd get them. I'd burn them. I'd send them back, whatever, whether that was legal or not legal, I don't know. And at the end of the day, I ended up just sort of morphing into their their streaming platform.
How about yourself, Adam?
And I do remember their very, very first, I don't know if you know this, the first original content. You know what it was on Netflix?
House of Cards?
No.
What's the original content?
Lilyhammer. Did you see Lilyhammer?
No.
Any of you guys seen Lilyhammer?
Kyle,
you
Sopranos
seen
guy?
Lilyhammer?
I've heard about
You a Sopranos guy?
No.
No. If you're not a Sopranos guy,
You
Lilyhammer.
wouldn't want. So
Yeah.
but there you go. That's a perfect example. Lilyhammer got you.
Well, I mean,
okay?
it certainly was, wow, these people are serious. They must have got the people that
That's
were creating
the
original
point, though.
content on HBO or whatever.
Okay. Are you on Netflix?
So I had Netflix, but now I canceled it. But here's my point with the whole, you say that you don't think it's a competition thing.
So they do.
No.
It has to be at least some percentage of competition
Sure.
thing. Why is it a competition thing? I'll tell you why. Do you have Amazon Prime?
I do now.
Do you have Amazon Prime?
I got
Okay, of
Amazon
course.
Prime for one
You have
reason.
Hulu?
I don't.
You have Disney
I don't.
Plus?
I don't.
Okay. You have YouTube TV?
No.
Yes.
HBO Max?
No.
Sling
I have
TV?
HBO.
Crunchyroll? Apple TV? Twitch? Sony Crackle? The list goes on and on and on. I can keep going. So, yes, there are obviously some issues with their business model.
Yeah.
For sure.
This is a perfect time for the legendary question.
What's your point? Your point is you're saying that it's not competition.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there has to be some element of competition
I
because you
disagree.
can't have
Yeah.
12 different things on your that you're going to be watching.
Listen, for
just
me,
they-
How many? Okay, let's just finalize this. How many do you have? You have Netflix. You have
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. You've got Disney Plus for your kids.
Okay.
What else do you have?
but think about everything you're saying right there.
Yeah.
Why do I have them? The question isn't if I have them or not. Why do I have them?
You have them 'cause you want them.
Do you know why I have Amazon? Do you know why I have Amazon?
Does it
Ask
show
me why I
you-
have
does it-
Amazon. You know why I have Amazon?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you wanted to watch Shia LaBeouf's movie,
Honey Boy.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch Honey Boy. I'm a diehard Shia LaBeouf fan.
Okay.
So Honey Boy is a story about him and his father. So I wanted to watch Shia LaBeouf. He makes this movie about his life with his father, and he, in a sit down with Jimmy Kimmel, says, "I made this movie to be about my father, and I had my dad. I said, Dad, please watch this movie." He had his dad watch the movie with one agreement that he made with his dad. I want to watch you on FaceTime. You watch the movie. I just want to see your facial reactions. So he makes the movie, all these scenes about his dad, and he watches his dad's reaction the entire time. You know what I do? I go by Amazon. I haven't canceled this since. I've never watched anything else except for Honey Boy, just because of Shia LaBeouf. I got Netflix because of House of Cards. I have Disney Plus because of kids. I don't have Hulu because no show's got me on Hulu yet. And so the point I'm trying to make to you is, I agree there's a lot of competition. Don't forget, Google is the number 14 search engine ever to come out. That means before Google, there was 13 others. So what do you mean there's competition? Of course there's going to be competition. Amazon came out while there was millions of Sears, Costco, Sam's Club, Kmart, all this. And then Amazon comes and they're killing everybody. With that
took a while, though.
But that's from 94. The point is, they didn't throw in the towel. I think in a situation like this, there's one part about what he said that I agree with. One part of what he said that I agree with. It was the first comment you made. And the comment was, sometimes when you win, you think you'll win in everything. And you can't. Just because you were a great basketball player, your name is Michael Jordan, doesn't mean you're going to be a great owner. Just because you were a great basketball player, Magic Johnson, doesn't mean you're going to make a good coach.
I thought you were going somewhere totally
Well,
else. with this.
especially
No.
when it comes to trying to anticipate
Yeah.
what consumers are going to do and how they're going to react to your product. Okay, you just don't know. You think you know.
Yeah.
The more success you have, the more you think you know. And
By the way, how many of you here that are watching this, how many of you here that are watching this actually subscribe to Quibi? I'd be so curious. How many of you that are watching this right now actually subscribe to Quibi? Comment below if you actually subscribe to Quibi.
not
I'm going to
money
give you the craziest stat here. The craziest stat. They advertised during Oscars and they advertised during Super Bowl. They did a $5.5 million commercial during Super Bowl for Quibi. Afterwards, 70% of responders, when they did their review on Quibi, you know what they thought Quibi was? They thought it was a food delivering service.